Medic 22.
Okay, first off, we're just going to have, you ready, Roger?
Yeah, I'm set.
Okay, Logan, go ahead and spell your name for me.
Logan, L-O-G-A-N.
Last name?
Dillard, D-I-L-L-A-R-D.
And Grandma, what's your name?
Sharon.
S-H-A-R-O-N.
Scruggs, S-C-R-U-G-G-S.
Okay, first off, Logan, tell us about, what do you remember about that day? What are you taking away from it? What were you doing at the time?
I was told that I was walking my girlfriend back down the road so her mom could pick her up, but I don't really remember anything, to be honest with you.
So it's even hard for you to remember all the events leading up to that day.
You don't even remember his walking his girlfriend out the driveway for a minute to pick him up.
What's the next thing you remember then? Just waking up in the hospital?
Waking up in the hospital and seeing two of everything.
Okay.
I don't even remember.
That was 3 days later.
They said I was drugged up in the hospital, but I don't remember that either.
Your impressions of all these folks here and your grandmother. I mean, you have these people to thank for your life. What does that mean to you?
I'm very grateful. And I'm proud I'm still here. To be honest, because I heard about some other dude who had a less voltage and blew his head off.
Yeah, that's not a good deal. And they kept saying that getting something immediate was very important. So, I mean, I know you loved your grandmother before, but I mean, she seems like a pretty special lady. How special has she been to you in your life?
She raised me. She's like everything to me, you know?
Hold on a second here. I'm going to defocus. She's awesome. Sharon, your recollection of that day, just real quick.
Just that his girlfriend, I give so much thanks to her for having the sense to run to the house and tell me, because I'd have never known if she wouldn't have came and told me. And then once I seen him, it wasn't anything heroic. I want that to be known. It was just, you do what you do. You know, you just go into action. Just like the firemen, the policemen, and everything, you know, it's just a different thing. And then when it's your own child or grandchild, which to me, children are special, but grandchildren are extremely special. And especially when it's your own, you know, and it just, no, I wasn't gonna let him go. I wasn't gonna let him go, and then when they got him to Kingwood, they came out and told me, that's when they told me not to get my hopes up too high. And that's when I kind of got a little crazy in there, and I said, I tell you, I got enough faith in me, and my God, my grandson, and every one of y'all working on it, that he's gonna be all right.
So while you were racing to him, you were on the phone with Shirley?
Yes.
Shirley?
Yes.
She probably told you right away, start CPR as soon as you get there?
I said, I already know how to do it. Yeah.
Was that the first thing you did? You said,
oh yeah, I threw my phone. I think her mother was already there or something. Another lady was there. I mean, everything, because all I seen was him. I threw my phone to her and I got on him. I think they laid the phone there beside me or something, but you know, it was just remarkable that she answered the phone. They all got there, I mean, quick. I'd say within less than a minute, they were all there, you know, so.
How thankful are you for all these people?
I'm overwhelmed with the faithfulness and gratefulness and just the grace God has given my grandson to have a second chance in life, you know, because not everybody does, you know, so.
Mark, did you have anything?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, now that you've had a second chance, what does your future look like? Anything special, police officer, firefighter, or you into cars?
I really want to be a therapist.
A therapist?
Yes.
Awesome. So that's your goal, to be a therapist?
Help others the way they help me. Sometimes save people mentally.
Excellent. So you want to contribute and help others still in a different way?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Grandma?
No, just I want to once again thank the whole fire department, EMSs, everybody, police department, everybody that pitched in and blocked the roads so everybody could do their job. Because that was 1485, they had to shut down, and that's the main road going through New Caney. So, but everything worked out wonderful, and he's here. He's alive, he's breathing, he's walking, he's got 10 fingers, 10 toes, and his brain's okay. you know, so it's just a total blessing. That's what he was.
So kind of tell it run down again, Shirley. He had the flag was laying on the ground. He just went to raise it up and put the advertising flag back in the ground. When he made contact with it, it came close to the line.
We'd had a storm, and it blew their pole down, one of their advertisement appliance flags down. And his girlfriend said all he did was pick it up. As soon as he picked it up, he got electrocuted.
It wasn't even that close to the power line.
Well, he was in between. The power lines was real low. They raised them way up now.
Oh, they did. Okay.
But yeah, so when he picked up the pole, it just automatically arched, is what I was told.
Yep.
Arced.
Yeah, arced. Yep.
Arced.
If it gets close enough, the electricity can
Because the
jump.
poles was like this, the wires were this far between, and then he raised the pole up just enough, because he's 6 foot.
And I guess the dampness there, the way it kind of burned through the flag there into the pole.
It did, and they hung it back up too. So.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks so much for speaking.
With us. Okay. One of the biggest things is it's such a rarity for us to have an outcome like this. When we get called to reports of somebody not breathing without a pulse, the chances of having this outcome takes a whole bunch of things to go right. Okay, and so from the reports that I got, you were working on building a sign.
It was a pole.
Mm-hmm.
I won't take it up from what I heard, and then put it back in the ground. But since the power lines are so low.
You made contact with the power line.
They said it arced, that the 2 lines was low, and we picked it up, it arced to the pole and down to his hand.
Well, what I really wanted to get the point across is the fact that we're very happy that you're here. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to go person by person or department by department as far as Shirley's going to come up here and talk to you guys, and she was the call taker. So whoever called 911, she was the one you were the one that called it. So she was the one on the other line. Okay.
So you can talk to Shirley while she's talking to you.
Okay.
Right?
Shirley?
Yes, ma'am.
Shirley, you want to come up here?
Where's Shirley?
So when we receive a lot of phone calls every day, we usually take about 90 to 100 and something calls a night. This one really stuck with me. Obviously, when it's younger people, it kind of gets to your heart a little more. And just feeling that relationship with, the grandma doing CPR on her grandson, it got to my heart. I don't know if you heard it when we spoke on the phone, but towards the end, I was tearing up. I was a little emotional. And, seeing the outcome, it's amazing. We don't always I never get to know the end of the story. Getting to be here is such a huge accomplishment to me. Sometimes the job is hard, and it's times like this that it makes everything worth it, And I'm so glad that I get to stand here and meet you, and Miss Sharon, I'm so glad I get to meet you as well.
I'm so glad you answered, and you tried to keep me calm, but I was talking to you until I got to him, and then I threw the phone to whoever else was standing there, and I jumped on him.
You did amazing. Not every caller stays calm and does what they need to do, and I think whatever you did great at it. And
God, I'll tell you, it was God. It was God all the way.
So
There was no doubt in my mind, because 20 minutes they said that.
yeah.
And I remember it was a tall, skinny one. I can't really remember which one, but it said they had a pulse on the ankle. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that just,
Yeah. And
So I don't remember anybody that was there. I'm sorry, but thank you, everyone.
Well, you were kind of busy.
Yes, you did.
And what you did, you were that bystander CPR, that's absolutely crucial to having this outcome that we have right now. Had you guys not done anything, we probably wouldn't be sitting in this room right now celebrating the actions of everybody.
Yeah, so what the numbers show is we can do some really amazing things with medicine and get him going. But what really, 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 really counts is that you start CPR immediately. And you did that, and you did that very well with Shirley. And that's the key thing that made him able to be here. So you saved your grandson.
I don't take, I don't remember who it was that wanted to come over and take over the chest compressions I was doing, but I was like, when there's 4 hands on him, I'll take my 2 off, but not until there's 4 on it. I remember saying that to whoever it was, and I'm sorry, but I meant it out of my heart. You know, I wasn't being trying to be rude, but I'm just grateful to every single one of y'all. You know, if the world just doesn't know how much y'all do and go through and save people, and not just through electrician, but through fires, through all things, just put y'all's lives. You know, it's just amazing how brave y'all are to do that. You know, and I want to thank y'all for this boy right here, as he's been through a lot, but I knew God had him. I knew God held him in his hand in 20 minutes. It was fighting. I knew God had him right there.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that in my heart.
So after you got done talking with Shirley, the fire department arrived, okay? And Mr. Castillo is going to kind of talk about what he saw and how that went once the fire got there.
Obviously, we were dispatched from Station 154. We were right down the road. Honestly, it was, I knew exactly where you were, because those poles have always been there, and I seen it down earlier that day. So whenever the call notes came in, I knew exactly where to go to get a quick response. And honestly, like they were saying, your grandmother doing CPR played a crucial role in this whole thing. Like, yeah, us as EMS and fire personnel, you know, we do what we do, but your grandmother did an amazing thing as well. Like, she needs that credibility as well. So we get there. I was the driver that day, and obviously it was a tough scene already, because 17-year-old kid going down. All we can think about obviously is, you know, we have nephews, brothers, even sisters that age. So obviously it holds close to home sometimes, and you know, we did everything that was in our protocols, right? From the very beginning, we got chest compressions going, obviously, and the medicine as well. You know, we couldn't have done it without MCHD and then the rest of the crew, the fireman in the back, along with my officer in charge. Honestly, just glad that you're here. Like, it's truly a blessing to actually see you here, you know, doing good. And man, I love those shoes, by the way. See the 24 on them.
So Mr. Castillo, how long was the fire service there before EMS showed up? You guys had to work for a while.
Man, honestly, I lose track of time whenever it comes down to it. Like you said, it does happen so fast. But everybody was doing different assigned tasks, making sure that we're hitting every benchmark.
5 people was working on it all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's just amazing how calm you were
Me?
in the situation.
And the whole situation.
Well, his girlfriend come running at the house, because that's why they ended the road. Her mother was on her way to pick her up, and he said, well, we'll just walk down there. She come running to the house for Miss Sharon. Logan got electrocuted and is not breathing. I had my night clothes on. I grabbed my cell phone, and I called 911 as I was running out the driveway, and it's a long driveway. And then when I seen him, when I got around the curve and seen him, oh, it was like, you know, just the fire took over me. I just went, and, you know, and until y'all got there, I didn't stop. I couldn't, you know, and I'd blow in his mouth too, and he'd go, oh, that's right, breathe, 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 you know. And it seems like everything happens so fast.
You did everything right. As calm as you were.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I thought I was going to have to wrestle you.
Which one was you?
I was the one that
Chest compressions.
chest compression.
Oh, yeah, because I was like, what was that machine you got? Or no, was it the one that said, am I the one that told you to 4 hands on him? Yeah, I'm sorry.
He was the machine for a
He
while.
was the machine for a while, right? And
But they did put that big machine on him.
The ambulance, and our in charge on that truck was Jonathan, and he's going to come up and talk a little bit about what the crew did once they got there.
So My name's Jonathan. When we got on scene, 154 was there. They had been doing chest compressions. District Chief Sammy, he had arrived just as we were pulling up, same time. So when we got there, they were already doing chest compressions. They had put an eye gel so we could help breathe. It's a breathing tube, put it in his throat so we could breathe for him. They had their AED on. I believe it had already delivered one defibrillation. And when we got there, we got our monitor on him, assessed what rhythm we had, and just worked from there. We, started a IO, put a needle, so we could give medications. Did that, get a couple more defibrillations, and just continued with our ALS interventions until we got. It had been probably 10 or 15 minutes since I had gotten there and started. We noticed there was a difference in the rhythm on the monitor, so said, hey, everybody stop, check for a pulse. Hey, we've got a pulse, let's get in the ambulance and start driving. So we got him up on the ambulance, started going down to Kingwood, and he was breathing on his own at that point. Was still unconscious, but at that point it was still looking a lot better. So we weren't out of the woods at that point for sure, but it looked, there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and it was a pretty bright light, so there was a lot of hope there. But, and just like everybody has said before, just want to reiterate that, you doing CPR, first thing, before anybody else got there, is a huge factor in any of these type of situations. Having somebody on scene immediately starting to do CPR helps change the outcome significantly. So, but
Especially when it's your grandbaby.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. So, and like everybody else has said, that this is such an amazing opportunity to stand up here and see y'all, and Logan, you're looking a lot better than that day. So the last time I saw you, so this is pretty exciting for me as well.
And so one of the things that we try to do anytime that we have an event like this is award the crews, okay? It is a very hard job to do sometimes, and the outcomes usually aren't this favorable. So when we do have a good, favorable outcome, we want to make sure to remember the good ones, okay? Because that helps us get through all the ones that are not so fortunate. So I'm going to put you guys on the spot, and would you like to hand out the awards to the crews?
Yes.
All right, I'll call the names out. You don't have to worry about that if you'll hand them out to them. Okay? So one of the things that we'll give everybody is a challenge coin. Okay? It's just a coin to commemorate the event, and then they'll get this lifesaver plaque with your name on it and their names on it, signed by our CEO and our chief of EMS. Okay? All right. So, here you go. Richard? He's coming up right here. I'll call him out for you.
If you guys don't mind, we'll take some photos too.
You want to take a photo?
Take a
Turn
photo.
around.
Yes, turn around, let's take photos.
Love it, turn around. Stand right by. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Thumbs up, I'm here with you.
There's like 10 more.
Thank you.
Is that what he did?
Jonathan, you're up next.
Thank you, thanks.
Yeah, man. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Turn around so you get a picture.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Picture, 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up, I like it.
All right.
Did I give you one?
Yes, you do. Okay.
Firefighter Kate.
Shirley.
That's the one that works in the chair.
I thought you was a Haiti. Thank you so much.
1, 2, 3. Look here, thumbs up.
He's the one you were trying to kick, Miss Sharon.
He's the one I what?
He's the one you told him, put 4 hands on.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that took over.
You would be right, Hayes.
Right here, 1, 2, 3.
so much for getting there so fast.
I appreciate it.
Saving
Thank
my
you.
grandson. He's my boy.
And unfortunately, the fire department's captain was not able to be here today just because he got held over on another shift. But he would have loved to be here, and that's Keaton. Okay, so we'll make sure to leave this for him so that he'll be able to enjoy it too. All right.
We'll take a picture with it.
Sure.
All right.
And then the call taker, Miss Shirley.
911 girl.
That's my grandma's name.
It is.
Not me. That's girl.
I'm so glad I met you in person. Oh, those last few minutes on the phone killed me with you.
I didn't know your face, but now I do. Just what you had.
And it's so good to
'Cause I know I wasn't easy to handle.
Oh, you are. Trust me, it's a lot better than the others.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. And if I can get everybody back up there for a big group picture before we.
And the person that you guys have not gotten to see or talk to is the district chief that arrived did you arrive last or you?
No, they at the same time as the ambulance.
Oh.
Same time as the ambulance.
District chief, it's Chief Hancock.
Chief Hancock.
Ready for the thumbs up? I'm gonna go thumbs up.
Alright. Got it.
All right, Missy, you wanted everybody?
Yeah, one more group, one big group picture.
Group picture. He has been all alive.
You guys are gonna have to squeeze.
I actually have a really, really wide camera, so I'm able to do it. Okay, everybody, 1, 2, 3. Big smiles. Can I get a thumbs up? All right. Love it. Thank you.
Big difference too. So you did a lot to save your own life. That so there you go.
Hospital. Come on. When we got to the hospital, I called a friend of mine because they told me not to expect anything good. That's what they told me at Kingwood. And I said, I got enough faith in me, and my God, and my grandson that, you know, and then Pastor Mark, when I called, because the two of them were come together, God's in the midst, Pastor Mark immediately called me back and started praying, had the whole church praying, and it's prayer.
Thousands of people around the world were praying.
Powerful,
Amen.
powerful.
Amen.
So,
thank you.
he's my hero.
So she's gonna send to you, okay? And then what we'll do is you'll put it inside of here, and it's just something for you to remember, okay? Remember us all by. It has all of our
May
names
25th.
and everything that on that day, okay?
Thank you so much, so much. Thank y'all all. I mean, y'all all saved me.
Thank you for doing this. This is a big thing for our people.
Yeah, he didn't really want to come because he's not into crowds, and I was like, shy. Boy, you don't get
shy.
Feel free to have some cookies and some water, and we have some. That's the way it is. Come towards us a little bit there. All right, perfect. You tell me when you're ready, Mark.
We're good.
Yep, I gotta go up a little bit.
It's easy for me because the viewfinder's right here at Island. I don't know what you guys.
Well, you're tall to begin with.
All right, go ahead and first off, give us your name and spell it.
Jonathan Meyerdirk, JONATHANMEYERDIRK.
And what's your title?
In charge paramedic.
Tell us a little bit about that day, what you remember from that day.
So I mean, it was a pretty normal day for us. At that point, we'd coming to work, doing our shift, and on a couple calls. And this one, calls like this always hit a little different when it's younger person, 17 years old. It's a little more, just hits you a little different. So we got dispatched to the person down, unknown problem. Then as we got more information, as we were responding, they said it was a 17-year-old that was unresponsive and not breathing.
And did you know he had been electrocuted at that time?
we got it. We got that information shortly after.
And your immediate thoughts, based on your experience? Not good.
Yeah, usually, because I believe they had told us that he was carrying a flagpole and it touched a high voltage power line, and that's a lot of electricity. So there's a lot of other complications that can result from that, other injuries as well. So it's definitely a pretty serious call.
So when you arrived, what was going on?
So when we arrived on scene, fire department was already on scene. They had already started CPR. They had put a breathing tube in Logan, and our district chief, Samuel Hancock, had arrived just before us as well, and they had Logan on the monitor and had started using our mechanical CPR device, Lucas, to deliver effective chest compressions. And so they were breathing for him and doing CPR, and then we were starting to assess his cardiac rhythm at that point.
Okay. Was he coming back at that point? Was he still not there?
No, he was still unconscious, unresponsive at that point. Still didn't have a heartbeat on his own. So we continued CPR, assessed the rhythm that he was in, delivered a couple defibrillations with our monitor, started an IO, which is a needle that we drill into the bone to deliver medications. So we pushed our ALS medications, defibrillated him a couple times. When we noticed that there was starting to be a change in the cardiac rhythm on the monitor, so we paused our CPR, checked for rhythm, for a pulse. He had a good pulse, had a good heart rhythm, cardiac rhythm on the monitor. So at that point, we got him onto our stretcher and started transporting to the hospital. At this point, he had started breathing on his own, but was still unconscious and unresponsive. So we gave him some more medication to help sedate him, to kind of keep him calm and be able to transport him safely.
How critical was his grandmother's actions into this?
His grandmother's actions were extremely critical in this situation. Anytime a person goes into cardiac arrest, bystander CPR is one of the most important things that somebody can do. A lot of the studies that I've read have shown that for every minute that a person goes without a heartbeat, their chances of survival drop by 10%. So if the average ambulance response time is about 4 minutes, that's a 40% decrease in their chance of survival. So having somebody right there to immediately start CPR is crucial.
Your feelings on getting the first word that he was going to be okay, and then coming to see him today to see that he's perfectly fine for the most part. I mean, how does that make you feel? Doing what you do.
Yeah, right. It's an awesome feeling getting to see him, and when last time I saw him, when he was at the hospital, he's still in critical condition, but we were pretty hopeful. All his vital signs were looking good, but we still weren't sure on what his outcome would be. So being able to come here and talk to him and shake his hand is a pretty magical moment for all of us to see that we be able to be a part of that outcome and see him standing here. It's amazing.
Awesome.
You guys?
Thank you for your time. We're set. I'm set.
First off, could we have your name and have you spell it?
My name is Shirley Alfaro, Shirley. Alfaro, Alfaro.
And your title, sir?
My title is alarm medic.
Alarm medic. Tell me a little bit about your role that evening. What happened?
So we received the 911 call. I was the first one to take it. We had calls coming in from multiple people. So I was able to speak with Miss Sharon, and as soon as she told me he didn't have a pulse, we immediately jumped into doing CPR instructions. So just keeping her calm and reassuring her the importance of what we were doing in that moment made a huge difference in the outcome. So it was just, it was all her too, all I do is just talk on the phone and try and help out before the paramedics get there, but it was her paying attention, her keeping calm and doing what needed to be done in order to get this outcome. You know, it's amazing. We don't always get to see the people that, you know, we speak on the phone with, and of course, having it being a 17-year-old, it's amazing. So all the child callers, all the younger people, it always hits a little close to the heart, just because it sucks to know that stuff happens to younger people. So as far as the call goes, it was just a lot going on, so we had to keep everyone focused, and Ms. Sharon ended up passing the phone to someone else. So I had the other person put it on speaker and put it by Ms. Sharon so I can continue to count with her to make sure we were going at the correct rate. And so I can continue to just give her more information and let her know when the fire department was getting close to send someone out to go flag down the first responders. And so, yeah.
So so you're on the phone, you're talking her through everything. Once the first responders arrive, your role at that point is kind of let them take over and,
of course,
and
yeah.
you get off the phone. But then to have to get off the phone on a call like that when you don't know how it ends, I mean, what's going through your mind?
It's always hard hanging up, especially on calls like that. I spoke with her a little bit after the fire department got there, and that's when I started kind of breaking down. She started telling me, you know, he's only 17, and that's when it hit my heart. And disconnecting, it's always hard because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's happening. We don't have eyes there. So I stepped out and I asked my partners to let me know if anything happened over the radio, because they give things like CPR progress, or they got a pulse back and stuff. So I stepped out. I spoke with my dad, that's also a paramedic with MCHD, and he kind of calms me down. And but yeah, hanging up on calls that you don't always get to know the outcome. Yeah.
It's tough. But seeing him here today, what was that feeling like?
I honestly, it was amazing. The moment I got the email, I started telling all my partners, hey, like, do y'all remember? Like, so it's awesome. And I worked last night, so I woke up super early today to be here, and I work tonight again, but it's completely worth it seeing him here, and especially when I got to speak with Ms. Sharon and Logan, started getting emotional. I had to kind of hold back the tears, just because we don't get this often, you know, and making a connection with Ms. Sharon and knowing that I got to maybe help in some way. It makes everything worth it. You know, it makes the back calls worth it.
You guys got anything else?
Thank you so